Great day, friends. Wayne Wallace here, coming to you live from Las Vegas. It is March 1st, 2 months gone out of the new year, 2026. What have you accomplished? I would like to help you accomplish becoming a video marketing master this year. On this presentation, I'm going to break down a video, basically show you how you can create lots of content for your business very easily. Anyone can do this. It's not hard. And let me go ahead and share my screen and we'll get started here. Hope you're having a great Sunday. If you're watching live or on the replay, you can drop me a comment. Let me know where you're watching from. So today I want to break down this video that I just edited and published and kind of show you around a little bit. So if you haven't been watching any of my videos, you may not know, but I created a piece of software and I use AI. I use Claude Code. Bring up my Claude Code window here. So this is my terminal window. Programmers love the terminal window. And that's what this is. If you use Claude or ChatGPT, you probably go to their website and you type in commands into the chat or prompts into the chat. Well, I've got my AI, Claude, connected to my terminal window. So I don't have to go to a website. I can just talk to Claude right through my terminal window. And this is great if you want to write code. And that's what I do. So I wrote code that will basically analyze videos, catalog those videos, label, tag, identify all the important parts and pieces of all the videos. So I have a set of footage that I got in my master's program. It's about 200 videos. My professor in my master's program followed around a photographer for 2 years, capturing footage of him doing what he does. He photographs cities at dawn. Try and put yourself in the shoes of Tony the photographer. No matter what kind of business you have, you can do the same thing. You can either have a friend or a spouse or a business partner or your kid video you. So basically what you would do is you would just take your cell phone and you would capture whatever it is that you do. So let's just take the example of dog walker. Let's say you're a dog walker and you want to create some of these type of videos that I'm about to show you. Well, you need to capture all the different aspects of your business. Walking dogs, playing with dogs, maybe you bathe dogs, maybe you train dogs, all these different aspects of your business. Then what you would also do is you would do some interviews. So you can have someone interview you, or you can just fake it. You can act like you're being interviewed and just talk about your business. And then you would want to interview your clients and any business partners that you have. And you're basically creating a bunch of raw video. You don't need to script anything. You don't need to plan anything. You just want to do what you do every day and capture it. And that's what my professor did with this photographer named Tony. He just captured him doing whatever it is that he does. And then he interviewed him. And then he interviewed his clients. And then he gave us this footage. So the footage that I'm going to show you today is this footage here. And this footage consists of several different pieces. So let me show you those pieces. So this is an interview of Anthony or Tony being interviewed by my professor. So let me play a little bit of it for you.
How to be a creative photographer. So people, they buy really good quality cameras and they shoot on auto and they're wondering why all their photos never look different than a photo taken with a smartphone when you got this nice digital SLR. And I teach them why. And they experience the whole Dawn thing with me. It's very kind of like hands-on learning experience. And
so he's just talking. There's no script. He's not reading from a cue card. He's not reading from a teleprompter. He's actually a pretty bad interviewer because he's looking at the ground a lot. But it doesn't matter because I'm going to show you what I did with this footage. Now let me show you this other piece of footage. This footage here is a small clip of Anthony on the street with some of his workshop students. So in that short clip, he was teaching his students about the latitude of film or digital in capturing light. And then in this clip here,
I have a passion for
this shot, what I would think would be a good shot would be to get the pub here with the tree, the steeple, and the glass. Just that. You can get all that. I think that would be really nice.
So he's on the street teaching his student about what to capture. And let me go over here. This is another clip of Anthony on the bridge in London.
So we run workshops.
And my audio is not working on that, but it's okay. And then here's another clip of Anthony and Diana, his wife, in their office, and they are just talking about business stuff.
Sell another 4 Venice workshops and as many of the last 10 London workshops for the year as possible.
Okay, picture of some feet there. So you can see this footage isn't that great. It's just kind of basic footage. Anyone could shoot this with their phone. Here's another interview of Diana, his wife, in the park. Let me turn the audio on.
How to photograph each city at different points in the morning, and people really love it. It's a really unique, the workshops might kind of capture a little bit of dawn, but this is Anthony's passion, it's a speciality.
So she's talking about Anthony and what he does and why his workshops are so great. And then over here is an interview with one of his workshop students.
Walking around London at dawn.
And what do you think about Tony?
Tony is really great. He is really fun, he's really patient, he's able to explain things really simply, and he's a brilliant teacher.
Okay, so that's a little testimonial right there. And then this little clip here at the end is Tony in a radio station being interviewed on the radio.
We're going to have workshop talks, advice surgery, if you have a SLR camera or camera you don't know what the...
Okay. So you get a general gist of the type of footage that I have here. Now, this little set of clips from this point here to this point here were created or assembled by my AI editing program. So it's called DocuFlow. And basically what I did was I took 200 clips that I had of Anthony and I told my software to go analyze all those video clips. So it went through all the video clips, it organized them, it cataloged them, and it labeled them, and it tagged them. So for instance, right here, here's a tag. So this tag says beat, climax, narrative beat, climax starts here, segment 8. Okay, over here, it says beat, main, narrative beat. And let me get it to come up. There we go. Main starts here, segment 5. So I didn't put that note in there. AI put that note in there. And then let me bring up my media pool, and we'll go over here to another clip. Actually, let's go to this one. Nope, that one doesn't have any tags on it yet. Okay, here. Okay, so here's Diana sitting in her office, and this tag says, we have bills to pay, challenges overcome, emotion, stress, quote, yes, Diana on the financial reality behind the project. So they're doing a book project, and Diana's talking about the stress and the challenges. So let me play a little bit of that.
We have bills to pay on this for sure. So yeah.
So just a little clip that was identified by AI, and AI tagged my video clip with that information. So all the 200 files that I have were tagged in a similar way. And then I can go in and manually put tags in too. So if I'm watching this and I see something at this point right here that I want to tag, I can tag it, but I haven't done that. I just let AI do all the tagging so far. Now, if I want to enrich the data or enrich the video with more data, then I can put more tags in, no problem. And I can follow a similar format that you just saw. I can put the emotion, and I can say if I want to quote that speaking moment or not, and then put a description of what it's about. So when I export all this information back to text files, because all of this is in my editing program called DaVinci, and DaVinci will export all that to text files, because that's all it really is text files. When you're editing video, it's just a bunch of text files, and it's telling the video editor how to display the information. So if you're in a timeline like this, this has got a start point, an end point, it's on a certain layer or track, and it's a certain length, and so forth. So it's basically text data. So I can export all this textual data back to my hard drive, and then I can upload it to AI, and I can have AI do things with it. So what I did, let me flip back over here. So what I did was I asked AI to create a timeline, and I just gave it some instruction. I said, hey, I want you to create a timeline for me of Anthony's workshop, Tony's workshop. So it went through the data of the 200 files, and it picked out a bunch of clips. So these are all the clips that it picked out right here. And it said, hey, this would be a good hook from the master interview. This would be a good transition from the Lifestyle Dawn workshop video. Here's another intro video. So it gave me all these possible clips to use. And those are actually the clips that I just showed you right here. So this is the timeline that AI created. Now this clip, or this set of clips over here, from the beginning to this point right here, are those same clips. What I did was I just copied those clips and then put it at the end. So this is like a copy of the original clips. And then my other copy was here at the beginning, but they basically look the same. They were both the same length, both the same clips, everything. I just duplicated it. And then I went in and I started editing. So this set of clips right here on the right is basically a rough cut. That's what we call it in the business. We call it a rough cut. So it's just like if you wrote a book with AI, that'd be your first draft. And then maybe you're going to go in and start editing that book and putting your own words into it. Well, that's basically what I'm doing here. Is I'm taking a copy of this rough cut, putting it over here at the beginning, and then I'm going to start editing it and putting my own twist on that footage. So let me go ahead and play this for you. I'm going to make it full screen, and then we'll play it. So this is the finished video after I edited it.
I have a passion for light, and I try to share that with other people through my photography and through photographic workshops.
Now, the human eye can pick up about 15 stops, a contrast range of 15 stops, 1 to 15 from brightest spot to the darkest spot.
I take out intrepid photographers, and I take them to all locations that I have found over the years and I've been to, and I teach them how to be a creative photographer. People, they buy really good quality cameras, and they shoot on auto, and they're wondering why all their photos never look different than, photo taken with a smartphone when you got this nice digital SLR. And I teach them why, and, they experience the whole Dawn thing with me. It's very kind of like hands-on learning experience, and they're very popular. People love them.
So we run workshops at Dawn. I say we, Anthony runs workshops at Dawn in London, Paris, and now Venice. And and it's just amazing. Amateur photographers from all over the world come and do our workshops, and Anthony takes them out. They start when it's completely pitch black, an hour before sunrise, and he shows them how to capture dawn, how to capture pre-dawn, and then how to photograph each city at different points in the morning, and people really love it. It's a really unique workshop.
Tony's really great. He is really fun, he's really patient, he's able to explain things really simply, and he's a brilliant teacher.
How much is it a technical skill of knowing what your camera does and being able to understand all the functions? And how much of it is an aesthetic one, an eye, a sensibility, an understanding?
I always tell people, know your camera.
Really?
Before you go out, you know what all the buttons do. If you know your camera, it helps you express yourself.
Thank you very, very much.
Thanks, Robert.
Okay, that was it. So that was an edit of the original footage that was over here. So you can see that the length of it is dramatically cut down, right? So this is about 2 minutes and 12 seconds, whereas this one's probably more like 3 minutes, over 3 minutes. And you can see that the little cuts in the video are much tighter, right? They're little tiny clips. So let me go ahead and zoom in here and I'll show you. So basically what I did was I went through the audio and I took out all the bad stuff. So when Anthony coughs or says, or does a sniffle, or he repeats himself, because people repeat themselves a lot. They say like and and all those things can be cut out. And then what we do is we put other video on top of all those cuts. So right here's a cut, here's a cut, here's a cut, here's a cut. There's a little gap right here. Okay. So this would not look good. So let me show you what that would look like if I just played it like that.
I have a passion for light, and I try to share that with other people through my photography and through photographic workshops.
See, it doesn't look good because you see the flashing where there's no video, like right here. And then in between the cuts, you see little jumps, right? And that's a jump cut. So a lot of times you'll see jump cuts on YouTube because they want to make it fast and, kind of YouTube-ish. Well, in professional video editing, we don't do that. We want to make it a smooth transition, a smooth storyline, a smooth timeline. The reason we do that is, just like in films, is you don't want the viewer to be distracted and focusing on your edit. The job of an editor is to disappear. So when you're watching the final video, you don't want to notice any edits. You want it to be very smooth. So if there's a mistake in the editing, then that's going to distract the viewer and they're going to be thinking about the edit mistake and not the story, right? So I put B-roll on top of all these cuts. So let me play it again.
I have a passion for light, and I try to share that with other people through my photography and through photographic workshops.
So a lot of people think, oh, well, documentaries are narrated. No, well, sometimes they get a narrator, but really the narrative arc is created from the interview. So down here is the interview. And I basically kept the words that I wanted. And then I put a little spacing in there so they're not all slammed together. And I created the narration basically. And then sometimes, like in this case here, we have an on the street video of him teaching his students. So it's not an interview. It is more of a actuality video. The videographer was filming what he was doing. So he's not actually taking pictures, but he's teaching. So we call this actuality. It's B-roll, but in this case, it's A-roll. So A-roll is your main track, the one with the narrative, the words, the sync. And then B-roll is the top clip that covers up your cuts. I'm using B-roll or actuality as my A-roll because he says some things that are really good. So let me play that.
Now, the human eye can pick up about 15 stops. A contrast range of 15 stops, 1 to 15 from brightest spot to the darkest spot.
Basically, he's explaining a photographic concept where film can capture so much light. Well, in the digital world, it's the same thing. Your camera, your digital camera can capture so much light from the brightest bright to the darkest dark. And there's a certain amount of stops that are capable for the film or the camera to capture. And that's what he's explaining to them. It's a technical aspect of taking pictures. And I wanted to include that because it shows Anthony's expertise. So let's say you're a dog walker. Then you could be talking about different breeds of dogs and why you don't walk this dog when you're walking that dog, or how you have to, deal with a dog that maybe isn't trained well. So put yourself in the position of you're the business person here, and Anthony's talking about photography, but you would be talking about whatever aspect of your business that you would be talking about. And then what I also did was I started Anthony's audio, his teaching audio, underneath this B-roll. So this B-roll is them walking down the street. I'm not using any audio from that. It's just pure B-roll. But then I start Anthony's talking segment underneath that B-roll. So just a little bit. So I want to start introducing Anthony by audio before we see him. And that's a common tactic of editing.
Now, the human eye can pick up about 15 stops.
So we hear Anthony before we see Anthony. And then over here, I did a little bit of a cover up over here. And as Anthony's finishing up his talk, I go to another B-roll shot of this guy. And we actually saw that guy over here, and over here, right at the very end. So I'm continuing that visual for the viewer, because the viewer sees the three subjects, and then in this next B-roll clip, we see those three subjects again. We see Anthony's orange coat, we see the lady in white, and we see the guy in blue. So I'm continuing that storytelling process. But then the narrative is coming from Anthony's interview. So right down here, and notice there's a bunch of little jump cuts again.
I take out intrepid photographers and I take them to all locations that I have found and over the years and I've been to, and I teach them how to be.
So notice here he's looking at the ground, right? I would have probably shown him on camera, but he's looking at the ground. But I can't really show him on camera because I've got all these little jump cuts and he'd be like jerking around in the video. And I don't want that because that's going to distract the viewer. So what I need to do is I need to cover it with some B-roll. And I chose to use this B-roll of the students setting up their cameras. And this is a close-up shot. So this is another important aspect when you're creating your video content, is you want to do different shot sizes. This is a close-up shot of 3 people, or a medium shot, but it's kind of a close-up shot because I'm really tight on the people, but it's 3 people. So it's not as close as it would be on a 1-person shot. And then over here, I jump into a more pullback shot where I can see more of the people. So here I can see more of Anthony, and I can see the camera, and I can see the lady in white. And then over here, okay, we don't go to the guy in blue yet, but we see a little bit of his coat peeking in here. Okay? And then the next shot is a different angle, and it's showing Anthony working with the guy in blue, getting his camera set up. So let me scroll this over. So we see this footage here of Anthony working with the guy in blue. Then I go to another clip, which is a different time of day. Could be the same day, could be a different day, doesn't matter. In this particular case, it's the same day. And we see early morning, they're photographing the London Bridge. So this is a side shot, so we don't quite see what they're seeing yet and what she's photographing. But in the next clip, we do see it. We see the London Bridge. So these are the different B-roll shots that I decided to use to tell this story. And then we jump into Diana's interview where she's talking about Tony's workshop. And notice I overlaid the London Bridge footage. So we start hearing Diana speak before we see her.
So we run workshops at dawn. I say we, Anthony runs workshops at dawn in London, Paris, and now Venice. And it's just amazing.
Okay, so then we're going to move into the next section where we go back to the B-roll of Anthony and the guy in blue.
Amateur photographers from all over the world come and do our workshop.
So basically she's talking about photographers coming to take the workshop. So I wanted to go back to Anthony working with the photographers to kind of match what she was saying. Plus there's some cuts right here. So I needed to cover those cuts up. And then over here, I have another clip of me at that same morning moment, but from the opposite side. So now we've seen kind of all 3 sides. So here, basically I just see Anthony working with her and the camera, getting it all set up. And then on this next clip, we see Anthony and the lady in white walking with their cameras on their shoulder, ending to that scene, that story. So these B-roll shots were not picked in random fashion. I picked each one of them for a specific purpose. So we play, and then we jump back into the interview footage of Diana, and she says,
Really unique workshop.
really unique workshop. And then we jump into the testimonial of the lady in white, but she doesn't have her coat on in this shot.
Tony's really great.
Tony's really great. And then I don't want to see her speaking the whole time. So I jump back into a close-up shot of her messing around with her camera, and Tony's in the background kind of talking to her. So this is a B-roll shot of Anthony really working with her and teaching her. And that's what she's talking about.
He's really fun. He's really patient.
With the words that she's talking about. And then I jump to something completely different, which is Anthony in the radio station being interviewed by the host. So I just thought that was a great little ending to this clip. And the interviewer asked him about the technical aspect and is it more techie or creative? And I thought that was just a great way to end this. And I didn't just stay on that one shot. I pulled back to a shot of Anthony, and we see Anthony. And then the last clip is of the radio host. So let me play that for you.
How much is it a technical skill of knowing what your camera does and being able to understand all the functions? And how much of it is an aesthetic one, an eye, a sensibility, an understanding?
I always tell people, know your camera.
Really?
Before you go out shooting, know what all the buttons do. If you know your camera, it helps you express yourself.
Thank you.
Okay, so I just noticed that I've got a little mistake in here, a little gap. I don't know how that happened. It just happened. So this audio got cut down. So basically what I want to do is I want to extend
You know how to operate it.
this audio. It should have went all the way to there. So let me play it from here.
If you know your camera, if you know how to operate it intimately, it helps you express yourself.
Thank you.
Okay, so
Your camera, if you know how to operate it intimately, it helps you express yourself.
what happened here is Anthony was saying something. So let me just pull this down and see what it was that he said. I forget.
How to operate it intimately.
No, he said, so I didn't want that in there. So I took out the, and I put these just blank audio clips over that part. Now, it's kind of a little bit messy, right? Because
Intimately.
I'm still looking at Anthony and I see his mouth move, but I don't hear him. So I can decide to leave it like that, or I can do something different.
It helps you express yourself.
So what I could do is I could cut this video right here, and then I could cut this right here.
Operate it intimately. It helps you express yourself.
I've got a little tiny bit of a jump cut. So basically I have to decide, do I want to have that jump cut, or would I rather have the little gap in sound? So basically I can play with this and see.
It helps you express yourself.
So I can play with this footage here, and I'm just going one frame at a time
It helps you express.
to see.
It helps you. It helps you express. It helps. It helps you.
So it looks like no matter what I do,
It helps you.
oh, that one looks pretty good.
It helps you express.
Yeah, I'm still going to have a little bit of a jump there, but what I can also do is I can also use some editing tricks. So here I can add a 2-frame cross dissolve.
It helps.
So it doesn't really do much. What I can also do is I can come up here into my effects, and I can go to video transition, and I can do, let's see, which one do I want? I want a smooth cut. So this is using a little bit of AI, and it will try and smooth out that cut.
Ultimately.
Yeah, that looks pretty good.
Ultimately.
So it just kind of uses a little bit of AI finesse to smooth that cut out.
Thank you very, very much. Thanks, Rob.
And then over here at the end,
Yourself. Thank you very.
I did this little kind of finesse to make this work. So Anthony is finishing up speaking, and he finishes right about here. And then I let the audio of the radio host come in right here. And he actually says something else before that. So it says here.
Anthony Epps, thank you.
Oh, he says Anthony Epps, thank you. So I could actually bring that in right about there.
Yourself. Thank you very, very much.
Yeah. So basically the problem that I have is this clip was black, and I couldn't just go straight to that clip because for some reason the camera messed up or whatever, and it's black. So when he's saying Anthony Epps, thank you, the screen is blank, and I can't show him saying that. So I had to do a little video editing magic here, and I had to overlay the video of Anthony speaking, and then right as he gets done speaking, I come in with the audio, and then I come in with the video of the radio host.
Yourself. Thank you very, very much. Thanks, Rob.
But it all blends together very nicely, right? So when you're looking at it in full size,
Photograph each city at different points in the morning. People really love it. It's a really unique workshop.
Tony is really great. He is really fun. He's really patient. He's able to explain things really simply. And he's a brilliant teacher.
How much is it a technical skill of knowing what your camera does and being able to understand all the functions? And how much of it is an aesthetic one, an eye, a sensibility, an understanding? I always tell people, know your camera. Really? Before you go out shooting, know what all the buttons do. If you know your camera, if you know how to operate it intimately, it helps you express yourself. Thank you very, very much. Thanks, Robert.
see like that whole little transition right there, it was smooth as butter, right? You wouldn't even know I had all those issues going on in the footage over here because I made it disappear. And the job of a good editor is to disappear. Now, I did notice one other thing right here at the beginning.
How much is it?
So I have a gap in the audio here, and that kind of struck me when we were watching it.
Things really simply. He's a brilliant teacher.
How much is it?
So it went quiet. So I want to see what I have to work with here.
In terms of the skill, how much is it a technical skill?
So he says in terms of the skill. So I kind of like that. So I need to add a little bit more.
In terms of the
Yeah.
In terms of the skill.
But now she's saying teacher. So I need to adjust that. So let me go over here.
Fun. He's really patient. He's able to explain things really simply. And he's a brilliant teacher.
In terms of the skill.
He's a brilliant teacher.
Okay, so she finishes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring her audio back to this point right here. So basically her audio finishes, and then I'm going to add a little gradual slope to slope her audio off.
He's a brilliant teacher.
In terms of the skill, how much?
So it kind of dips down a little bit, right? And then I can dip him up the other way.
Things really simply. And he's a brilliant teacher.
In terms of the skill, how
So now it's a little smoother blend between the different audios. I don't have to do that in between cuts of these two.
Tony is really great.
I mean, I could because this is two different people, so I could do something like that.
Workshop.
Tony is really great. He is really fun. He's really patient. He's able
So this is where you get into the finessing of the video and the audio, and you start really dialing it in and making it perfect, right? Now, this is what you would do for a movie because it's going to go on a big screen, or if it's a really important marketing video. But yeah, for these little quickie videos that you're just going to post on your social media, you don't really need to go into the full finishing that you normally would, but you want to still try and make it as good as possible. So this is a more complete video than what I originally had. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to export this new version, and I'll just write right over my old one. So this one's a little bit cleaner, a little bit more polished. So I'll upload this one to my YouTube, and then I'll delete the other one that I put up there because the other one has the mistake in it. So, yeah, that's it. Let me go over here and see if anyone's got any comments.
the other one has the mistake in it.
Okay, so I don't see any comments. So if you're watching the replay, and you have any questions, or comments, then feel free to leave them. But that is basically how I would edit your video. You know, I took my time explaining, you know, all the details of my edit, but you know, this edit, you know, didn't take me long. I didn't record my time. Probably took me, I don't know, 30 minutes to an hour to go through and, you know, polish this up. So now what I can also do from this particular edit is I can make short. So let me show you what I did with my short. So let's bring my web browser over here and we'll go to Facebook.
They buy really good quality cameras and they shoot on auto, and they're wondering why all their photos never look different than in a photo taken with a smartphone when you got this nice different. And I teach them why.
So this is a short cut from, it's a vertical short cut from a horizontal footage. This scene right here, this scene here. So there they are messing with the camera, and there they are messing with the camera. But what I did was I cut that horizontal into a vertical. Basically what happens is first we edit the horizontal footage, then I cut the vertical clips out of it. So that's why you always want to take your phone and turn it horizontal when you're capturing footage, because if you capture footage vertically, then it's not going to work. This is horizontal footage. So you need to turn your camera like a real photographer and capture horizontal footage. So if I was using a real camera like this, I would normally hold it horizontal. It's only because this is a smartphone and the manufacturer made it to be held vertically. And then social media said, hey, since you're holding your phone vertically, why don't we create these vertical videos for social media? Because it fits the format of the phone. But that doesn't mean that's how you should shoot your video. You should turn your camera horizontal or landscape and shoot all your video footage horizontal, because then you can create a YouTube-like video, which is more rectangular landscape. And then you can recut that video to be vertical like this, so it looks right on social media. So you want to get the most bang for your buck by turning your camera horizontal when you're filming. And that's something that most people don't think about. They just take their camera and they start recording vertical. You don't want to do that, because then you're only going to have vertical video, which is not what you want. So you want to have both, because this video here, like I said, is going to be uploaded to YouTube, and YouTube's more of a landscape or TV style or computer screen style format, whereas your phone is more of a vertical format. You ever notice when you're watching YouTube videos, you turn your phone landscape to watch them and it gets bigger, because that's what it's made to be watched. It's made to be watched in a landscape format. So anyway, that's some basics of video editing and video capture. And if you'd like to learn more, then I invite you to come to my weekend workshop. Basically every Saturday at 10 a.m. I do a video marketing mastery preview Zoom session at 10 a.m. If you'd like to attend the next one, put it on your calendar. It's always the same link. It's zoomwithwaynewallace.com. And you can just go right to that link, zoomwithwaynewallace.com at 10 a.m. Pacific time, and you'll just join the Zoom. Now, if you become a member of my boot camp, which is a paid thing, then we hold a session at 9 a.m. Now that one's not the same link. It's a different link. It's a private link. And when you become a paid member of my boot camp, then I'll give you that link. I invite you to attend my free session at 10 a.m. and learn more about the boot camp and learn more about documentary style video. And then hopefully you'll become a member of the boot camp and you'll join the community and you'll learn how to create better video for marketing your business. So thank you for watching. Leave any comments or questions in the message area below wherever you're watching this video.